On blue side, once again, we have all mid, all modes captained and first picked by What Is a Wolf, followed by picks from Lady Santa, Rare Candy, and co-captained by Gross Pigeon, who's going to be taking that counter pick. On red team, we have Vae Victus, captain and banning Sergeant Pepper, followed by picks from Zion Disc, the Poke Magna, aka Focused Target, Et Omnia Vanitas, and Flabois. I still need to figure out how to pronounce that, man. 3 bans out thus far, Galio Vel'Koz and Xerath taken out. Once again, a targeted ban at the Galio. Not surprising at all, really not surprising. Zypher Killer, thanks for the follow, my man. I hope you're enjoying yourself here in stream. Next ban out for Vae Victus is the Varus. Now, is the Janna going to make it through again? That's the question. I wouldn't be, in all honesty, I wouldn't be too surprised. No, you know, both of these teams are so sick of Janna, so sick of having to take the Janna picks. You know, I guarantee you everybody would just much rather us globally ban out the Janna, which, you know, something that we could do in the future, but as of right now, that's not the case. So she's still up on the table. She's still up for grabs. Now, Ziggs is the last man. We do have the Xerath and the Ziggs taken out here, so it's not going to be kind of a, you know, a battle for who gets that counter. And the third ban coming out from red, this is a tough one. Do you take the Janna and give away one of the super strong first picks for Team AMAM to take because they're on blue side? They do get that first pick. That's, you know, one of the things you could say is the advantage here, but, you know, you get 2 picks afterwards to counter pick. You get 2 of the second, the second 2 strongest champions, whereas they get the first strongest champion that's available, and they're going to ban out the Morgana. That's not a surprising ban. That is a surprising ban, actually, but I love it. I absolutely love it. Janna gets through again. Not surprising at all, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see Team Vae Victus pick her up. I like the way that they played this out. If Team AMAM take the Janna early, it gives Vae Victus a lot of opportunities to counterpick her later on. There's a lot of things they can do to kind of, you know, isolate and execute a Janna, but this is the champion that I missed out when I looked at the bans. What's his name? This isn't Vel'Koz. This is Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw gets left open, and Team AMAM are going to take him away. That is an important pick for these guys, and there's just so many. These guys have been around for so long. They're so good. There's so many things they have in their belts that it doesn't matter how many great moves you make in this champion select phase, they're always going to get something on you. They're always going to have something that they wanted. In this case, it's going to be the Kog'Maw, their super priority pick. You know, there wasn't much choice here. There really wasn't much choice here as to who coulda, woulda, shoulda been banned at this point, and the Kog'Maw just had to end up going through. Sergeant Pepper, he's hovering over the Lissandra. Zion Disc also hovering over the Ezreal. These are probably the second 2 strongest champions that are available right now. These are good 2 picks coming out from Team Vae Victus. You can see that they're going to take the Lux and very prioritized pick here. It's also prioritized by AMAM. I'm sure they were hovering over that Lux or the Kog'Maw pick. And then we're going to have the Ezreal coming out from them and 2 quick picks from Team AMAM. Let's get those in as quick as possible. We have the Jinx once again coming out from Lady Santa and Rare Candy taking the Jace. That is a tough composition. That is a tough combo to deal with. A lot of siege coming out from those guys as well as a lot of poke from them. So this is a very, very scary squad. Now, Zion Disc on the Ezreal, we most likely end up seeing that one going over to Flabois again, but what I can tell you is that I would really like to see something along the lines of a Wombo combo coming out from this squad, and with Lux and Ezreal as their first 2 picks, they have to lock in their next 2 as the, you know, the Womboers and the Comboers, so I would have really loved to see something like an Alistar and an Orianna, or even a Zac and an Orianna. That would have been really awesome, but I really would have loved to see that, but the Janna is still available. And Gross Pigeon has the counter pick. If they had gone for something like that, they would have just been able to take Janna and would have been able to completely negate it. So they're forced into just these 2 standard picks here. Very similar compositions coming out from both sides. Those last 2 picks are at Omnia on his Alistar and Flabois on his Caitlyn. Both teams looking very similar here. Red team, that's a finalized chart for them. And the last pick for Team AMAM is going to be the Janna once again. These guys, this says a lot about them in this scenario. They are really respecting Vae Victus. And I've heard from certain sources, little birdies through bushes, that, is that even a phrase, little birdies through bushes? Either way. I've heard through those birdies, in those bushes, that Team AMAM has been scrimming Team Vae Victus quite a bit, and Team Vae Victus have been doing fairly well in their scrims. I'm not sure how many games they've taken off of Team AMAM. I'm not sure if they've taken any games off of Team AMAM, but I know that they've been playing well against Team AMAM, and Team AMAM are giving them some serious respect here by having to take the Janna. If Team AMAM were in a less serious setting, they would have just let that Janna go through and just wouldn't have taken her and had to make a statement. But here, they're scared. I don't think they're scared, but there's got to be respect, so they do end up going for the Janna. They're going to get almost exactly the same composition that they had in the last match. 3 pokers and 1 Janna. The only difference here is that 2 of their pokers are AD. This is a serious early winning composition. If they can get themselves an early lead, get themselves some wave clear going right off the bat, then they're going to be able to take that to a victory real fast. It's going to be a lot of pressure on I Am the Sgt. Pepper, who is now holding on to the Alistair to make his engages and make them well, time them extremely well. This is going to be a really interesting match once again, you guys. And we're just, like I said, we're seeing something similar coming out from Vae Victus. The only thing they're really lacking at this point is the wave clear. So even if they do get themselves an early lead, then they're not really going to be able to hold on to it because they're not going to be able to clear the waves out quickly enough. And if they end up losing the early lead, then Team AMAM are really going to have time to siege upon them, considering that they didn't take somebody like a Sivir. Sivir is a champion that is available that I would have recommended here for Vae Victus, maybe even over the Caitlyn. Ezreal in combination with a Sivir, maybe even replacing the Ezreal with a Caitlyn and taking a Sivir instead would have been a big pick for them. But at this point, they just don't really have the wave clear that they're going to need. It's going to be a lot of pressure falling on Sgt. Pepper to be able to zone the enemy members out and make sure that they don't get those big siege opportunities that they're looking for. Because I tell you right now, that is exactly what they are looking for. Now, if you take a look at our style stats, team composition strength calculators, you can see that they're in the center of our screen here. It's a radar chart. It's produced in 2 shapes, 1 for each squad. The shapes are helping us compare the strengths of each squad based on these 6 criteria. There's my rundown, there's my plug, and what you can see from both teams is that they're both bottom left side heavy. They're both early win compositions. The only problem is that Team AMAM have much more ability to actually handle themselves if they don't get it. They want to take that early lead. They want to win this game as quickly as possible. They want to be able to, offensively be shoving into the enemy turret, but they have enough wave clear so that if they are shoved into their own turret and they're forced to be back into a defensive position, they can handle it. They're going to be able to clear out those waves. They're going to be able to defend here, especially with the combination of a Janna and a Kog'Maw. That's an incredible amount of wave clear. Whereas red team, they have what it takes to take an early lead. They have what it takes to take advantage of an early lead, but they don't have the wave clear. And what that means is that not only do they not have the ability to hold on to those early leads if they want to, really make things happen, but on top of that, they also don't have the ability to defend early game leads if the other team is shoving them into their own turret. It's a very important point here because this is a team composition that I would have expected, like the last one, to be a hard counter to Team AMAM's playstyle, and I think that worked extremely well for them the last match. Granted, they ended up giving up the Janna, which is unfortunate, but in this composition, they've kind of tried to emulate Team AMAM's playstyle, but they didn't bring in a wave clear. They didn't bring in a defender just in case. And I think that would have been a really important aspect for this composition for them. And as of right now, they don't have it. Next thing we're going to take a look at is our skin game, as we always do in the loading screen. As of right now, we got Lion Dance Kog'Maw, Victorious Janna, Longhorn Alistair, Frosted Ezreal, Steel Legion Lux, and Arctic Warfare Caitlyn. So I'm going to give the skin MVP over to the entirety of Team Vae Victus because we are seeing a 4 out of 4 skin match. And in terms of just the standard skin game, nothing too incredibly awesome coming out. Gross Pigeon, he finally gets a chance to play his Janna and gets to show off his Victorious Janna skin. So you know what? I'm going to give the skin MVP as a team to Vae Victus here, but special props over to Team AMAM, or to Gross Pigeon, for finally being able to showcase this skin that he's loving so much. Now this is the Draft Labs Tournament Series, ladies and gentlemen. We have Team AMAM on blue and Team Vae Victus on red. Team AMAM taking number 1 of this set, and Team AMAM once again getting themselves a nice, easy early lead here, or early bush control. And Vae Victus aren't really going to be able to contest this much. This is the first step to victory here for Team AMAM with this composition. Pro Shinobi says, when are ADAMs? Tomorrow? No, ADAMs are Tuesday, my friend. Tomorrow is actually another set of the tournament series. If you have a team you would like to register, you can go ahead and go into our website at stylelabs.com, hit the register button, hit tournament series, and then register your team there. If not, you're going to have to wait until Tuesday, until the Open Lobby Series, which is where we host any number of players, any new players, any old players, anybody who ends up making it into our lobby. Team AMAM got to have a frightening early lead here. Nice dodge there, at least. Now, these early little bits of poke that are coming out from AMAM are really going to seal the deal for them on this, you know, this true early game. You can see they know the defense is very low coming out from Team Vae Victus, and you can see how long those minions lasted underneath that turret. Thank goodness Pepper was there and ready to counter-engage onto Rare Candy and Lady Santa as they move forward and tried to siege here, but we're going to see that over and over and over again. They get as much wave clear off as possible, combining the Kog'Maw with the Janna, get those minions shoved in as quickly as possible, and then right as soon as those minions get shoved in, they're going to move forward and they're going to try to get some sort of siege off. You can see what is a Wolf. He's getting some off himself. There's a nice bind from Ed Omnia. Is there going to be capitalization? No. Nice disengage from Ghost Pigeon. So many games for Team AMAM are won in the first 30 seconds when they get that bush control. And this could be one of those. They have this type of composition. They have exactly what it is that they're looking for. And they're in exactly the scenario that they want. It's just going to be up to, you know, Sergeant Pepper and the other members of Team Vae Victus to be able to make big plays and get some aces and bring this game back, because these minions are really being shoved underneath their tower. There's a flash from Sergeant Pepper onto what is a Wolf. It isolates him, but he ends up being, wow, doesn't end up being saved. Nice first blood. Beautiful play by Sergeant Pepper. He's going to laugh that one off as well. Really well done, man. So, like I said, it's up to Vae Victus to make plays and get these, get this pressure from Team AMAM. Just get it away, you know, get this pressure relieved, and then be able to push back and at least negate their early game lead, which is exactly what they wanted. And Team Vae Victus doing a great job right there. Fantastic. Sergeant Pepper, beautiful individual play. I didn't even see that one coming. The sustain coming out from the Alistar is also huge here as well, because the minions are going to die so fast to Team AMAM that he's going to get a lot of those stacks up for his heal. He's going to be able to spam that puppy. More blue builds, all 4 blue builds, as a matter of fact, coming out from Team AMAM. They're going for that same exact early to mid transition. They want it to be as smooth as possible. Now that Vae Victus have gotten themselves a little early lead here with that first kill, they're actually putting Team AMAM on their back foot. They want to keep them on their back foot here for as long as possible if they really want to be able to make things happen. They don't necessarily have the wave clear, but if they can keep moving forward, they can keep out trading, they can keep healing up, they can, you know, consistently pressure out Team AMAM, then they should be able to hold on to it. And Sergeant Pepper, he's keeping his forward position. He's doing a good job thus far, forcing these members of Team AMAM to wave clear from a distance rather than wave clearing from up front where they can actually trade and wave clear at the same time. Sergeant Pepper level 5. Next level with his level 6 is going to be that plateau for his heals. We can expect that he's actually putting as many points into that heal as possible. Retro. The actions are moving forward, headbutting one away, but he's getting locked down. He's not taking too much damage. Should be able to heal that off, no problem. Marino. He has a catalyst as well. He's somehow able to spam a lot of spells, even though he has a catalyst. As he's putting more points into that heal, I think he's going to have more and more mana problems here. In the early game, the catalyst really works out, but once you get up to like level 7, level 8, that's when you really start to not, you know, feel the true difference between, you know, having the catalyst and having a chalice or something like that. Uh-oh, Ed Omnia's caught. Zion Disc is also moving forward. He gets caught. That's going to be a death. He goes down even after using his flash to try to get away. Zion Disc unable to do so. Flash and heal being dropped. That's 2 sums down for the Ezreal here, and Team AMAM easily able to bring things back, and just over-aggression from Vae Victus. They should have recognized that what they were doing there was perfectly ample to just hold off. Simply hold off Team AMAM until they can get the strength to be able to make bigger things happen. But they move too far forward, they get a little greedy, they want to make more things happen than just that, and they end up giving up that lead that they had. Wave clearing ultimate from Ezreal from long range. A good decision on his part, just to protect. Protect, protect, protect. And there's an ultimate from Ghost Pigeon. Brings his teammates up to snuff, brings his mates up to snuff, and now they're going to be really put on the pressure. Now it's time to turn up. Now it's time for AMAM to turn up. Sergeant Pepper, he is in fact focusing priority onto those heals, which is important. I know it was just bouncing around in between players. I forgot what my key bindings were again, but he is in fact putting priority on those heals. Not surprising. Most Alistairs end up doing that. As long as you have the combo available, that's plenty of crowd control. And Team AMAM are actually being pressured away, man. This is so surprising to me that even with such a strong composition that they're bringing out here, they're actually not able to take as huge of an early lead. There's a flash forward from Ed Omnia. He locks down What Is a Wolf. What Is a Wolf is getting locked down even further, but that was so much burned there, and he ended up getting shielded so heavily. Gross Pigeon, I would expect that he is actually taking priority in the shields. There we go. He is, in fact, taking priority in the shields. Less priority in the wave clear, more priority in the shields. This is contributing to the fact that they're not quite able to get, you know, as many minions shoved underneath the enemy tower as they would like, and as they were able to in the earlier stages of the match. He's prioritizing less spells on his Q, so he has less wave clear, but more defensive capabilities from those all-ins that you just witnessed. He pretty much negated all of the damage coming out from Team Vae Victus here, and that was a good attempt on their part. Ed Omnia, he gets a nice snare, but it's just unable to capitalize. So unfortunate, and that's just the power of the Janna, you guys. It's just, she just has something for every single situation that's important on this map. It's still a brawl here, you guys. This early game is really going nowhere fast, but it's just going back and forth. Team AMAM have had themselves a very small early game lead. You know, they're getting the first hits onto every wave. They're not necessarily shoving into the turrets anymore. They're not, you know, doing incredibly amazing amounts of poke damage, but they are, in fact, having a small lead. Now Sergeant Pepper, he might be looking for an engage. He has the, doesn't have the ultimate available to him, as a matter of fact. There's an ultimate onto Gross Pigeon. He actually just wants to soak that one up, not surprising. His ultimate is up and available. Uh-oh, Ed Omnia, he's taking a lot of damage here. He might end up falling. That is going to be the case. Lady Santa following up with a nice ultimate. That is such a recurring theme here, and I want to highlight this. It's such a recurring theme for teams against AMAM, where if one person, especially Team AMAM with a Jinx, one person gets caught out too far forward, even takes not too much crowd control, it's just a slow that's coming out here. Takes just a slow, and then there's incredibly large amounts of crowd control to follow up. You can see the Jace Q, followed by another ultimate from Kog'Maw, and then boom, an ultimate from Jinx. She's always there. There's always a Jinx there to capitalize on situations like that for Team AMAM, and that's one of the reasons why they prioritize the Jinx, because they find themselves in situations like that so often, because they prioritize these poke compositions that can whittle people down, but have trouble executing. That's where Jinx comes in and really ties everything together for Team AMAM. I think that Jinx is either a champion that you should steal from Team AMAM, or that you should ban out from Team AMAM at this point. Kog'Maw and Jinx. Janna, I mean, Janna is Janna. Janna is just a person you should ban against any team, but Team AMAM specifically. Those are my three bans. Janna, Jinx, Kog'Maw. I mean, that opens up so many other picks for them, but it also opens up a lot of picks for you as well. And I would say that you should pick them away from Team AMAM rather than banning them and allowing Team AMAM some of the other strong picks. Game still going nowhere, you guys. Only 2-1, 9 minutes in. Lots of sustain. We are hitting that power spike for the Alistair ultimate, or for the Alistair heals here. You can see how much focus is going into clearing out these waves as well. Vae Victus doing a fantastic job right now of keeping Team AMAM at bay. It seems as though they faltered in the early game, but they're not doing a bad job now. Flabois does end up getting another ultimate down onto Gross Pigeon, but still, Gross Pigeon has his ultimate. He's been sitting on it for a long time. There it goes, getting maximum amount of heals, full duration worth of heals onto the remaining members of his team, and this is a freaking stalemate, you guys. This game is going absolutely no square. My God, the two strongest teams we have going head-to-head, and they bring us the most boring game we've seen all day. It's going to start getting interesting here, because this game, you know, it's tension building. This game is going to get busted wide open very soon. Somebody is going to get an ace, somebody's going to get some sort of multi-kill, and the game is going to be busted open like crazy. We just have to wait for it, and this is just all the tension being built between these two really strong squads. I tell you what, though, in terms of tier stacks, Team AMAM are really getting a lot of tier stacks right now. They're getting a lot of mana. And they're going to be able to spam, because we have just hit that transition from early to mid game. Now I gotta pause. Well, no, I don't have to pause it to say this. I've been pausing too much, but what I can say is that we are in the mid game now. Whoa, nice dodge from Zion. He picks himself up a kill. That was crazy. Well played by him. Now Sergeant Pepper is looking for an excuse to go in, but he's getting punished out. Good disengage from Team AMAM, and good punishment there from them as well. Now, what I was going to say is that this transition from early to mid game for most players has been made on their starting items. In terms of starting items, Team AMAM have a much easier transition from early to mid than Vae Victus do. So Vae Victus are forced into using those clarities. Thank goodness they have those. And thank goodness they just had one right there, because they're going to be having some mana problems coming up soon, whereas Team AMAM are going to be fine. If Team AMAM can, Team AMAM are perfectly fine with holding on to this kind of laning phase for the entire match if they need to. Wouldn't call it boring. I know, it's not necessarily boring, but in terms of just like action, there's not much action. It's extremely tense, tension-filled. Now Sergeant Pepper, he got poked out of his ultimate, and this is Team AMAM coming out right now with their advantage. They want to they want to utilize their tiers to their advantage, but what is a wolf? He just wants to die, man. He goes in for the suicide, gives up some gold over Deluxe. Now is the time for Vae Victus to capitalize. They're all fairly low, but we're just seeing a lot of disengage come out from Team AMAM. What is a wolf felt safe going in for? Ooh, flash, another flash 4 from Omnia. He doesn't snag any sort of snare though, and there's going to be no follow-up. Flaubois ends up falling to a zap there as well. Now it's a 1-for-1 trade, and what is it? Wolf still has yet to make his way back in. There's an ultimate. Might pick up 2. Triple kill for Flaubois. Is it going to be a quadra? It is. Quadra kill for Lady Santa, and an easy ace here for Team AMAM. Now, in a series of events in that set, Kog'Maw, what is it, Wolf, felt really safe going in and suiciding right there, because he knew that there was enough disengage. His Janna had their ultimate. There was enough disengage for their team to actually be able to still play safe, still come out at least even or something like that, if you know what I mean. Wow, nice work there from the Jinx. Still ends up giving that gold over to Flaubois there, but for a price. Now, as I was saying, Kog'Maw, he's safe. He was cool. He was totally okay with going in and sacrificing himself right there. And then by using all of that disengage to not only kite out, but poke at the same time, Team AMAM were actually able to get themselves a 3 versus 4 ace in that fight, utilizing the Jinx ultimate and the Jace poke plus burst damage. That was a really well played fight right there. And they put themselves, that's just a series of events that you would not see from too many squads. It's just it's only the most seasoned squads that are going to be able to bring out strategies like that. Know exactly what the capabilities of their squads are. There's another Jinx ultimate. It's pretty much being thrown off cooldown now, because there's so much poke coming out from Team AMAM at this moment that it's just all the members of Vae Victus are just consistently whittled down. They're consistently at low health, and it's always good opportunities for Lady Santa to get some extra damage off. Team AMAM, once again, this is exactly the position they love to be in. Nice dodge again by Zion Disc. Really well done, man. That guy's made some really serious dodges this game. Team AMAM are in exactly the position they want to be in. They want to be pushing forward onto the second tower. They want to at least have their minions push forward, if anything, throughout this entire match. More poke going down to the Flaubois. Almost falls there. Does fall to what is a wolf. Well placed. Right as soon as Flaubois had to juke away from that Jace Q, it was forced to juke right back into a Kog'Maw ultimate. Team AMAM are taking this game by force right now, and it has in fact been busted wide open, you guys. It has been busted. Now there's another ultimate from Lady Santa with some following poke from What Is a Wolf. Snags a kill. Well played, and now it's 4 versus 2, and all 4 members of Team AMAM are able to siege down this tower. This siege competition, double AD with the Kog'Maw, some serious siege power coming out from them. Sergeant Pepper, he's forced to go in. He just BMs that one away, and this might end up being an inhibitor here in favor of Team AMAM as well. This is Team AMAM really going Team AMAM. They have turned up the heat in this match. It lasted for so long. They were just as aware as Team Vae Victus were that it was anybody's game at that point, but they won the team fight, and they are taking this game by force. This was a 1-team fight game, ladies and gentlemen. So far, at least. And Team AMAM, they've been able to take 1 tower, 2 towers, and an inhibitor. And now they're keeping the death timer stutter. Flaubois now going to be followed, triple killed in favor of Kog'Maw. The ultimate dropping from Gross Pigeon going to be disrupted by Sergeant Pepper, but he's getting locked in. He might end up getting taken down here. All he has is the ultimate and some disruption. There's still no members here of his squad to be able to help him, to be able to defend with him, but he gets dropped, and now this next tower is falling. This is AMAM. They want to take this in a single push, you guys. 13-5 now in kills. Another Jinx ultimate ends up whiffing, and it's only Zion Disc at AMAM Flaublois here to defend, but Team AMAM are taking down this next tower. Another kill going in favor of Team AMAM as Ezreal ends up dropping. Now Jace drops shortly after, but that's the second tower, and with Jinx attacking this thing uncontested, this could be GG here for Team AMAM in 16 minutes. Another kill going over to What Is a Wolf. This is domination here in this late game, you guys, and that's going to be GG in favor of Team AMAM. They take this set 2-0 in a sweep. My goodness, you guys. Now, I know I said this was domination at the end there, and it was, but it wasn't because Team AMAM are any sort of dominant team. They're not necessarily. I always have to digress after games because I put myself in a corner and say things like that. It's not because Team AMAM are any more individually skilled. Now, the only true skill advantage they have over Vae Victus in this match is the fact that they are more seasoned. They are in better communication with each other. They're better synergy with the in-between players. Individually, I can tell you right now that Omnia runs with the best of them, Pepper runs with the best of them, and what I've seen from Zion Disc is it's up there. You know, Flaublois, I still don't really know too much about Flaublois. It's the first time I've seen Flaublois, so I'm not going to make any comments there, but, you know, individually, there is no true advantage. It's just as a team, in cohesion, it goes over in favor of Team AMAM. And when you're in a game that runs so tension-filled like that for 10 minutes, 11 minutes, and it all just comes down to one team fight, which team are you going to put your money on? Most likely the one that's been playing together for longer and, you know, or at least, even whether or not they're making the right decisions, are at least going to be able to, make decisions together, if you know what I mean. Because what they did might not have been correct, but at least they were all on the same page. And that was the one thing that Vae Victus were lacking in that fight, was team communication and synergy between the players in order to have them take that game. And that was what allowed Team AMAM to blow that game wide open. And I called it, you guys. It was just going tension-filled. Nothing was happening, and then it was blown wide open. Team AMAM taking that Nexus in a single push. Incredible game from both teams. Once again, Vae Victus, these guys are coming out, and as a matter of fact, against AMAM, they're looking better than Team Ethereal did, I must say. And I hope Team Ethereal are watching right now and taking some notes on this, because that was just a really phenomenal match from both sides. Congratulations, Team AMAM. Take their second 2-0 sweep here in the Draft Labs Tournament Series, and are going to be walking home today with a W. Well played.